every video that you're watching, it's done by this man right over here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
For me, just getting this agency off the floor, I think I wouldn't have really thought about doing it unless I'd met someone like you.
what are you doing per month in terms of revenue?
We're doing about 10K. That wasn't the case before I started.
Exactly.
Doing-
So 6 figures now that you have a 6-figure company, and it's only going to go up from here, right?
Yeah.
So making 6 figures while having the time and location freedom, being able to travel the world, like you said, you were a digital
Yeah.
nomad, I think is something that a lot of the people crave.
How do I get to a point where
There
I'm
we
not
go.
like losing sleep,
Of course.
where I'm getting enough rest, where I'm going on holiday, where I'm enjoying seeing my daughter grow up?
The stovetop has been cracked already. That's the hardest part. That first 10K is kind of like, you know, in the beginning when you wake up and then the gas is low sometimes and you're like, it doesn't want to turn on. You've done that. All you have to do is like, the fire's on, just increase. Some of our clients are making 400K plus per
Right.
month, multiple of them. Did you see the last
yeah.
last night one?
Yeah.
So he's doing $200,000 a month in 3.5 weeks.
I suppose in this case, it really boils down to like, do you know what you need to do, and are you willing to do what it takes?
All right, welcome back to another client interview. This one is a little bit special. Why? Well, because we have our client here in person in the studio here. So today, Chino, welcome. Looking forward to, learning a little bit about yourself. I'm sure the viewers here are very interested in seeing where you were, where you are now, a little bit about yourself, your agency, your journey, and how the LaunchMyAgency team has impacted you. So with that being said, welcome, Chino. How are you?
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to
Absolutely.
be here, sitting in my own seat. We're in our studio at the moment. I have an audiovisual studio.
Exactly right. So let's talk about that, right? Let's go
Yeah.
into the high level overview, 30,000 foot overview. Who is Chino? What do you do? And we'll take it from there.
Sure. I mean, I live in Medellin in Colombia right now. I have a family here, and I used to live around the world. Actually, I used to be a nomad. I used to fly all over the place. I used to live in Asia. I'm from the UK originally, although you probably couldn't tell. Yeah, I started this audiovisual studio rather at the beginning, about 2 years ago. Because I used to run an agency, like I was just telling you. I don't know if you know this, but I used to run a digital marketing agency, and it was a different world back then.
Back then, yeah.
Very, very different. I'm talking like maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Each year in this space is like a light year, by the way. So it's kind of like,
It's getting even more as well pronounced, like the need to stay on top of what's happening in the market. I mean, you're doing it, right? You're already doing that very well. But like to come in now, you've got to have a certain mindset to be able to adapt quickly, because you might get stuck on something. And I know I'm going into the details here, but I feel like a lot of people have in their mind they want to do this. Like it's one specific aspect of making a business. But like now, like for example, with me, I started this audiovisual studio 2 years ago. Now I'm running an agency, and it's actually partly because of you. It's like your fault. It's
I'm
his
to
fault.
blame. But I mean, you've expanded your company. Before like it was a smaller studio, and I saw almost double the size.
Yeah.
Living here in a penthouse, it's
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, I mean, a lot's happened since we first met, and it's been really interesting. It's been a good journey. But like I was saying, I think you never really know what you've got in store for you, and it can still be in the same industry. It's just that you have to be able to, especially these days, like adapt with the technology and the market. And I think that's something that I'm learning a lot just by hosting these sessions in the audiovisual studio, really learning about like what works and what doesn't, what people are doing, how they have to change their approach. Every time they come in, they're talking about something different. And I'm like, hold on, I thought you were doing this. And oh no, it's because we have to do this now. Like that's what our clients want. They need that. So for me, just getting this agency off the floor, I think I wouldn't have really thought about doing it unless I'd met someone like you, obviously, right? Because now we're working together. But it was something that was always in my past. And now, because of AI specifically, and maybe you want to talk about this as well, it is transforming the playing field like so much.
It's changing.
I was going to say 100%, but it's probably more than 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I think especially as the next few months, kind of come, it's going to be a big change. We're going to get it all into that. But Chino, I think what's important for the viewers to understand is, a lot of the people watching this, they come from a place of where maybe they want to get started, right? They're like looking to kind of get started. So, they want to learn from people like us, right? You have a successful agency now. What are you doing per month in terms of revenue?
We're doing about 10K almost.
There we go.
It's fluctuating,
Yeah.
but we do about 10K a month, and that wasn't the case before I started
Exactly. So
doing it.
6 figures now that you have a 6 figure company, and it's only going to go up from here, right?
Yeah.
As we have, so making 6 figures while having the time and location freedom, being able to travel the world, like you said, you're a digital nomad. I think is something that a lot of the people crave. The people who are watching this really, really want that. So let's kind of uncover a little bit. Who is Chino? Is Chino some special person who's able to make 10K a month by just having this agency, a digital marketing agency, especially now with infused with AI? You're doing a lot of AI stuff there as well. But who is Chino? Why did you decide to even go into the space to begin with?
Well, I mean, just like I was saying before, I feel like you need to be able to adapt. I was doing a brick and mortar business before, which is where we are right now, and I'm still doing that because it's part of the content marketing. I'm very lucky to be able to have this space. But I think if you want to be able to have that kind of a lifestyle, and if you have
what
a
was
family,
the brick and mortar before? Because it's basically, you're pretty smart of what you did. You've taken the brick and mortar concept and the agency concept, a service based a digital nomad type of concept, and you're able to bring it together. You're able to mash it together. So best of both worlds, right? A brick and mortar is not something that it's not horrible, but it sucks if you don't set it up properly. So you have an element of working online, but also having somewhat of a brick and mortar because people come here, studio and stuff like that. So that's a pretty good model.
I mean, I know that not everyone could probably, start a studio, for example. That's not what we're talking about. But I was just running my studio before, and I saw an opportunity to incorporate a lot of the digital marketing aspects of what my clients were doing elsewhere and actually provide that for them. And it fits in perfectly because if we're creating the content, why don't we edit it? Why don't we help them promote it? Why don't we help them with strategy? A lot of people come in here and they don't really understand what they need to do. So we learn from people like you, and we have to find a way to use that. Otherwise, it's just like gold sitting underneath your butt.
Exactly. And I want to make something very clear. So every video that you're watching, it's done by this man right over here. Okay. So one of the things that we teach people at Launch My Agency, and you know this very well, is we tell them that, hey, look, there's going to be business relationships that are formed inside of our community that are going to be with you for years and years to come, potentially for a lifetime. And not only do we just say that, but we literally do it ourselves. So we partner with our own clients. No problem, right? You're very good at what you do. I have no clue about editing and video or anything like that. And a lot of the people watching, the content level that we have, I mean, your level is like level 10. It doesn't get beyond that. And we were talking about this earlier, I mean,
maybe
Facebook and Google, those guys are,
no, I appreciate it though.
Of course. But in regards to having some sort of a creative agency, dude, you're towards the top. I've worked with so many different types of people in the past. I think I was telling you a little bit earlier, they're just not even close to having this, right? So your skill set is very good. And all the people that are watching this right now, all the videos that you've seen is done because of him. So I just wanted to shout him out. And he's been able to give us a lot of value. And of course, his agency as well is doing about 10K a month. What we'll even do, man, is if anyone watching this, if they want to, use a little bit of your design services or whatever, we have a bunch of clients.
Sure, absolutely.
We literally get over 100 every single month. So we'll just add something like that if you're open to that.
Yeah. Why not? Cool. Why not? I appreciate that. And I mean, I'm very bad with compliments. Honestly, my whole life I've been very bad with compliments, but I appreciate you saying those things. There is obviously.
I truly mean that.
Right.
I don't give compliments out like that.
That's good to know.
You ask my team, I don't. Only to the people who are actually good. And, the viewers can probably decide that for themselves. You know how many comments we get on our, people on the calls are like, your guys
really?
Oh, of course.
When we do the clap and everything?
No. Like the quality of the
actually
content.
At the end, on the other side, when they watch it.
So they watch it, right? And then they hop on a call with one of my team members, and they're like, man, that content piece was really good. right? It's not only me, of course, the words, the experience and the skills, of course, that's there. But
yeah, it's funny because I never see that stuff. I only see
it's the end product too. They feel they binge watch. Oh, you want me to tell you something?
Yeah.
This is hilarious. Let me show you, because no one's gonna believe this. Let me show you this. This is hilarious. We're going off script. There is no script, by the way. We just do this as a conversation. But let me show you. This happened yesterday. One of our clients, day before yesterday, we landed him day before yesterday. Here's the notes.
This is going to surprise me.
Ready? This guy was so nurtured. He said he saw me and Zarar in his dreams last night. I swear, this is recorded on a call. Of course, we're not going to post a recording, but this is normal, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not everyone dreams about us, but like they're like it leaves an imprint
Yeah.
on them, and a lot of that has to do with the level of editing and the level of
Sure.
quality
For sure.
that we're able to
Yeah.
bring. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important as well to look at your business model, right? Not everyone's running a creative agency, right? The clients that we have here, some of you guys are running like a Facebook ads agency or an AI agency or some sort of email marketing or whatever. But the really good pros about having a creative agency, man, is like that stuff is like digital asset. It's a digital real estate.
Hmm.
I've been like working with you for the past about 5 months now
Yeah.
to really like hone into my digital real estate essentially. And that's going to be with me for years and years to come now. So
Mm.
I think that business model that you have, if someone's interested in like having their agency being set up like a creative agency, you know, but what are some of the, let's hear it from you. What are some of the pros and cons that you would say with your specific style of a digital marketing AI agency?
So, like, it's really great, right? Because you have obviously like I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are working in a job, or maybe they even have a business, but they're just trying to figure out what they need to do next, right? To get the lifestyle they want, to be able to earn what they want, and maybe they just want a fresh start. Maybe they want to do something that's more interesting. And with having an agency, you get to really choose which way you want to go, right? Obviously, you're the boss.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things that you can do in an agency. It's not really limited. I feel like that's one of the best things for me because I'm not the kind of person who just wants to do one thing necessarily. Like I'm very creative as a person.
Can I touch on that just real
Yeah,
quick?
sure.
What you just said is what I try to say all the time, right? So the people watching this, they're like, "Oh, what are my roles? Like, what specific agency am I going to have?" Well, that depends on who you are as a person, because it's not only about money. If you're only interested in money, we're not your champion. I tell that to people all the time,
Yeah.
because the thing is, when the going gets hard in business and life, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to lose motivation. You don't want to lose your desire
Mm-hmm.
factor,
Mm-hmm.
which is the reason why we want to be able to build your digital marketing AI agency according to your strengths, passion, mission, and vision,
Yeah.
right? So for you, very, very smart, you were like, hey, man, I want to go into something that are my strengths and skill sets. And then we were like, all right, cool. What are those? It's the creative side, which is why you have a creative agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're more analytical, there's a different style of an agency that you can have, maybe more of a media buying side of things, right? So this is something that we can't just give you a cookie cutter answer on, but there's so many different pathways to take you and your agency to success.
Yeah. And I would say, excuse me, I would say on the flip side of that though, the stuff that is a little difficult, right? Which is just normal, is even though you can choose what you want to do within that framework, you've got to be there. Like you've got to be 100% present, and you've got to do the work like day in, day out. And it's a lot of work to start an agency, right? I mean, but you need good mentors.
But it doesn't have to be exactly.
You need good mentors. And I've heard you talk about this before, which is the point I'm trying to make, is that you just simply have to know what you need to do, but you need to do it. And I think before, I'm 42 years old, right? And so this is kind of like almost like a late start for me to get back into this game. But I feel like in my past, I was just a little bit too scatterbrained, and I wasn't really following a certain process.
Why do you feel like you were scattered brain, kind of like going in this direction, that direction, just being bounced around like a
Yeah,
ping pong
I was
ball?
just so fascinated with
Yeah.
like, well, what can I do? Oh, maybe there's this
Shiny
thing that's
object
better. Yeah,
syndrome.
maybe that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It was a
yeah.
little bit of like a few things, and I don't regret it because I'm here right now, and I really like what happened with my life. I have a family. I'm very happy, so I don't regret that. But I feel like if I had focused, I would have made a lot more progress in that specific area, right? So I think now,
Would
knowing.
you say like the power of niching down, the power of one, essentially?
So I work with basically entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I work with business owners, small to medium business owners. I don't try to get out of that at all. Like I think that that's really my niche.
I agree.
And that's special because like you've just gave me a testimonial earlier, like before this video.
Yes.
And one of the things you said was, you've been around, you've seen what people do, you've been to a few different studios, and we're doing it pretty well. So I think the reason why you're going to have a lot of success following a method is because you're really focusing in on what your offer is, and you're being able to provide a lot of value.
Mm,
Because if you try to do too many things at the same time, you really can't allocate the time and the resources needed to be able to develop that and make a name for yourself. You got to make a name for yourself.
yeah.
And having the process and like learning from you is really important, because you could have a great product, right? You could be a great business owner. But if you're not like, if you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to get there, like you're just going to kind of like be in the middle of, you're in a sea with like waves just coming over you and you're just stuck there. You have to be able to get from A to B. And like we said earlier, time is really so important right now because things change so quickly. And you don't want to be left behind.
Literally in a week, right? Like
Literally.
there's new things coming out for AI.
Daily.
Even yesterday, yeah, I was gonna say like yesterday I saw now you can see in real time. So like whoever, if you're watching this like 3-4 months, so this may sound prehistoric to you now, right? If you're watching 3-4 months later, but I saw yesterday, there's like you can start on, for example, with AI, you can like start searching up like I want this picture. For example, I want the Hulk to be eating potatoes, smiling in front of the moon. So while you're typing that, you're able to see like the picture change.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
cool,
wow. So yeah, I feel like you don't have much time. Actually, we had someone here. You were here for the event. We had a guy here who was featured on Joe Rogan actually.
He's a
For
good friend of mine.
Yeah, right. He's a good friend of yours, and he was basically telling us, we really need to get started with our brands. We really need to get started with our digital marketing content, because we really have very little time before it's going to become incredibly competitive. And so getting started right now is so important. And that's really why I'm pushing myself to do this as
Yeah.
well. You know?
Like the experts, I was reading on Forbes the other day, they're calling it the digital gold rush.
That
And
sounds about right.
that is like, here's one thing that I don't want to stress on something. Whenever there's news like this, which very rarely happens, like for example, crypto,
Yeah.
like they say that, but no one brings it up to a level where it actually, okay, what I'm trying to say is the importance that it's supposed to have,
Mhm.
people don't give. You know why?
Mm.
Here's my perspective. It's death by 1,000 cuts. What's happening with the war right now in the Middle East right now? That's what the focus is, right? Like we have this problem, that problem, like in the news and all that, but no one's talking about this to the level that it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, in the gold rush era, there wasn't that many like news outlets or media or anything like that, and that was the only thing.
Right.
So just because you may not necessarily feel like there's an urgency or feel like that desire or motivation factor to get started now, trust me, this is the time.
Yeah.
You have to get it. If you're serious about having your own online business, this is the time. It's
Yeah.
going to be gone
Yeah.
forever and
Yeah.
ever. Just like, my friend was talking about, there's only about like a year left in this space. If you get to the top, you're going to be there. Like, it's kind of like making money on semi-passive autopilot.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the topic of this conversation, to be honest with you, because it is like the most urgent thing that we're discussing. Because back in the day, when I first started with digital marketing before, it was 2010.
Wow.
And this was the era where people were creating like landing pages with the big red headline. And well, like this secret lost me like so many kilos in 3 weeks. But you could take your time back then, man. I actually sometimes get nostalgic about how I used to be able to just, not worry about things too much in terms of like what's happening in the world.
It would take just to move a line like that big red headline, to move it a little bit to the bottom, it would take half a day.
Yeah, maybe.
Now you can craft up a landing page in 2 seconds,
So true, actually.
maybe 30 seconds, right? Like on using AI.
And in 3 months from now, you could probably just type a chat prompt and it will do the whole thing for you.
Completely.
And you just copy that and put it on your server. I mean, maybe it does that now, and I don't really know, but
Okay, so Chino, when you first kind of started working with us, right? What were some of the things that you feel like my team helped you out on? What were some of those specific things that really helped your business grow?
okay. So this is an interesting question because I think I have a lot of stuff to say about this, but I'll focus on the most important stuff. So the most important stuff is like knowledge. That's the most important thing for me, is like, does this person know what they're doing?
Mm.
And I have a unique ability to peer into someone's business just because of being here and recording with them. Like I get to see everything, and it's kind of like I feel a bit guilty about it sometimes. It's like a guilty pleasure of just like, should I even have
It's
access
like
to
the
this?
best mastermind.
It is. It's probably like the craziest little.
You're right. I've paid six figures just last year. I've paid six figures last year. I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah, man, that's what I think about sometimes. I'm like, these guys are like, no, but I think aside from like being able to like peer in from a bird's eye view and like just be a fly on the wall for like really cool meetings and conversations and stuff, which obviously helps. You know, I probably wouldn't even know what to do with it anyway, right? Even if I just kind of like went through all the stuff we've recorded and I said, okay, I'm going to implement this. Well, that's the other thing. So it's the knowledge, and now it's the
execution
execution is
what to do, when to do,
guidance.
how to do, like when to do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
because you can, I mean, you can actually probably go on YouTube right now and get a ton of stuff. In fact,
Exactly.
we're recording this a lot, goes on YouTube and is free.
and you're going to get a lot of good value. That's not what we're saying. You're going to get a tremendous amount of value. But what you're not going to get is, what's the first thing that I need to do? What's that first step? And you know what I'll tell you? The more the content, so there's always an inverse to things. Like, you know, when there's light, there's dark. Because there's so much stuff out there, it also has a big con. You know what the con is?
Right.
Do you know?
If you've got all your content online.
If there's, like, for example, we live in an age where you can just like Google anything and you'll get an answer to it.
Well, it's information overload, right? It's like,
Correct.
where do I
You
start?
know what that does? Number one, it not only eliminates what we were just talking about earlier, the importance of a specific piece of information. Like nowadays, you can have some guy who's like, 16-year-old kid who just started, he's making like YouTube videos and he's saying, I'm the coach. And then you have someone like me, for example, who's been in the trenches for 9 years and like worked like really hard, millions of dollars, 120 plus employees, 6 offices, multiple companies, doing 8 figures. And like me and him were like at the same level essentially.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like, what do you pick? So
Yeah.
if you think about this a little bit deeper, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to come across is that there's so much information out there. You are going to be more confused than ever. Confusion is there. It's a real thing. So you don't know what to do, when to do, how to do it. Yeah, you have all this information and knowledge, and now you're just like, you're kind of like just stuck. Analysis paralysis. So it does the opposite effect.
Yeah. So like one way to explain it is this. I have done this many times where I want to learn something and I go on YouTube and I search for something that makes sense, like, how to do this, right? And then you get, like you said, you get like 100,000 hits. 100,000 like kind of like research results, and you can formulate a plan, right? But you're never going to know if that plan's the correct plan. So you're going to spend maybe 4 months trying to figure this thing out, depending on how complex it is. But if you were to just hire a coach, right, that you think is capable, they would probably cut that time down by like 50% or more. More. If it's
Depends
a
on the
good coach. If it's a good coach, it'll be, and that's what I personally did even before I met you. Like with, I started doing that a while ago because I realized that that's actually helpful. You're going to spend money, but then how much are you going to gain in the process? You're going to multiply your investment. It's an investment. It's not a cost. I think a lot of people look at education like a cost. It's an investment, man. Yeah, you just be smart at like what education you're choosing. And so that's what I think, right? Working with someone like you and the LMA, like the LaunchMyAgency, oh man, the calls that you've had with your clients and also just as a team in between each other, those are just such gold nuggets. And it shocked me, like, and I'm being completely honest, man. Like, I'm not just saying fluff here. This is really like what I thought when I was watching some of the stuff you were doing firsthand. I was like thinking to myself, I never heard this before. Like, I've never heard someone talk about this before. I've never been privy to this aspect of a business and how people think this way. And the reason why it shocked me because it was almost like a light bulb moment. Like, oh, that's how it should be done, right? I never thought about that, but it makes so much sense, and it cuts down the time needed to actually get those results. The way that you guys go about things, and it's so practical.
What's an example?
So there's a lot. I'll pick one. I mean, you had a live call with a guy called Sebastian, right?
Yes, the client of ours.
Right, one of your clients, Sebastian, and there was all 4 of you were sat at this table, and you basically coached that guy from where he was to where he thought he wanted to be. But actually, really what happened was, even though he thought he wanted to go there, he realized just through the conversation over 2 hours that it was probably better to adjust and to do things differently. And it was a mindset thing. It wasn't like he was incapable. It was more like he just never thought about those things before. He'd never experienced it. And so that's what I'm trying to say.
His mouth was like left wide open.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
man.
And by the way, if you ever want to watch that video, we'll link it somewhere
Yeah,
here.
yeah, link
Like,
it
you'll
in-
be able
link
to
it
see,
in,
like, we recorded that full thing,
Yeah.
just like you said over here.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's brutal. Like it's a brutal way of kind of, maybe that's not the right word. I feel like for me personally, to be able to do what I'm trying to do now, which is grow the business, and you're helping, you have to be completely honest with yourself.
mhm.
And that's really hard to do, man, because it's comfortable
Keep
to
your
not
ego to the
be right.
side
Yeah.
and let's get to work.
You know, but you can't know everything. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't be perfect. And you need help. You've had help your whole life. You've never gotten to where you are right now with just doing things yourself. Right.
Yeah, we talk to people all the time, and it's actually very interesting. A lot of the people who are like, who don't have anything going on for themselves, they think that they are they're the
Yeah.
top shots. People who are very successful, a lot of them are my friends. They're some of the we are some of the humblest people you can ever.
Yeah.
We don't mind being a janitor again if we had to.
Right.
We will start all over again, no problem. We
Yeah.
are humble. But a lot of these people, like, that's why, there's a big part of personal development that, most people don't even talk about. And that's something that we offer as well. I think you've seen some of that stuff firsthand
yeah.
as well, like, how we think about certain things, our worldview. So if you want to be more successful in business, in life, money is a pure reflection to your thoughts of how you think.
Mhm.
You only attract the amount of money that you make to the level of thoughts that you have.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at your bank account, you're like, it's a little bit low. Well, then
Yeah.
you need to adjust this,
Yeah.
right? And again, you need to be close to people who have been there, done that over and over and over again.
Yeah, proximity, I think, is something that's really important and key to being able to get better results faster, because you're just going to naturally want to replicate and reciprocate. And it is difficult because you have to challenge yourself. Like, for example, if I go to a dinner with you and a bunch of the people that we know here, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know, I feel a little bit intimidated, right? Because these guys know a lot more than me, and they're doing more money, making more money than me. And, but that's just part of the game, man. I mean,
It's
that's
a
part
good
of
thing.
life. It's
I always want to be in rooms where I'm the dumbest.
exactly.
Because, like, you can only learn. You can only go up. You can't go down
Right.
anymore.
What's the point of the other way around, right? If you're the
Exactly.
smartest in the room, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to think you're great. And
Yeah.
it's so fake. It's
That
a fake
is
thing.
100% spot on.
And I don't want to feel like that, actually. Yeah, I'd rather just learn from
And
people.
it's good to help people, right? I don't mind, like, sometimes being in those rooms, but I'm very cautious about, just like, kind of like you said, about compliments, about praise. I really truly appreciate that every day. Honestly,
Mm,
my phone, there's like 2, 3, 4 people like
Yeah.
saying something nice,
That's
and I
nice.
very, very much appreciate that. But I don't allow that to get to my head where I think that, oh, I'm some sort of like saint, or like, no,
Because you know it's a lie.
I know that. Yeah,
Right?
I know I'm not
you
perfect,
realized
and
it.
I know my blind spots. I
Yeah.
know that I need to do XYZ things to become a better human being, a
Mm,
better CEO, a better business owner. And that task list is endless. It never stops.
mhm.
The moment you start thinking, I'm good,
Right.
confidence is important.
Yeah.
Not cockiness, though. You
Yeah.
gotta still stay humble.
Interesting. That's a good distinction as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm far away from that, right? So
We all are,
we'll
man.
see.
We're
We'll
all
see how
students
long
of
it
the
takes
game.
me to get
Yeah.
to that point. But
What are you looking like? What's the next year, 2 years? What's your vision?
yeah,
What are you
man,
trying
that's
to
a really
build?
good question. I mean, how do we know, right? Because of things are moving so fast. It's really difficult. I feel like it's much more difficult today to make a long-term business plan. I feel like you have to be very flexible now these days. I don't know what you think about that.
But if you're open to a little bit of maybe a different perspective on that, I agree with the tactics.
Mm,
The plan, though, no. The
Mm.
plan can be there for 100 years.
so we're not talking about like the inner workings of the business, but rather what vision do you
Correct.
have? Right.
Yeah,
Right.
just the grand thing, the grand scheme of things. Of course, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be like new AI changes, like this
Mhm.
AI avatar stuff. We
Yeah,
can talk about that
yeah.
too as well. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, yeah. We should do. Yeah. I mean, on that topic, right? You see probably the best examples to kind of use as role models when it comes to being versatile are the big brands. Look at Amazon. Amazon started as a bookstore.
It's true.
They were actually a physical bookstore, I think. And then now look what they're doing. They have like SaaS software. This is crazy to me. It's insane.
Adaptability is everything.
Adaptability, man.
And on the other side, the big companies, Blockbuster, where they at?
Oh,
They
dude.
laughed at
Yeah.
Netflix. Netflix came to pitch
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. I watched a whole
You watched the whole
documentary on that.
documentary?
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, but I mean, it's not that intense, I guess, for people like me. We just have to be aware of like, yeah, I guess the vision, right? The vision. So what's my vision? Honestly, having a family and a young baby, it really makes you think. What are you doing with your life? How are you going to give these people that rely on you the quality of life that you want them to have, that they want to have? And what's the future of your daughter going to look like? Do you want to have more kids?
mm,
All of those questions, right, are going through my head right now. And so I think being able to get to a point where, and also spending time with them. Oh my gosh, that's
quality
probably, I
time.
think I've just hit the nail on the head. So my challenge right now is, how do I remove myself from my business on the inner workings? I don't want to remove myself from the strategy
Of
necessarily, but
course.
like, how do I get to a point where,
Out of the day to day.
uh-huh,
Uh-huh.
where
There
I'm
we
not
go.
like losing sleep,
Of course.
where I'm getting enough rest, where I'm going on holiday, where I'm, enjoying seeing my daughter grow up, and she comes and she hugs me sometimes, man. She won't let me go, right? She won't let me go physically.
Wow.
Even when the mother comes over and she says, "Come on, let your dad work," she's like, "No, no, 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 no," and she's hugging me, and it makes me feel like kind of emotional inside because I don't want to reject her. I want
Mm,
her to be able to. I want to be able to have a relationship with her. So, my vision is, how do I get myself into a position where I'm really just in a strategic role, and I have a team that are able to do exactly what is required, and grow that way, scale the business. I want to have a studio actually here in Medellin that offers, an agency with a studio here in Medellin that offers all what we're doing right now, but just on a bigger scale
mm.
and doing it better. Like, I want to be at the forefront of this,
Category king.
because you told me, or you mentioned earlier, that we're doing things really well. I think we could do it better, man. I
There's
really
always
do.
room for
Yeah.
improvement. Yeah.
And so it's that striving to
Perfection.
be the best that you can be. I think that drives you. And so that vision, I don't think I'm going to be able to hit that vision unless I have that within me, you know. But maybe you don't have to be the best. Maybe you just have to be very competent.
Absolutely. You don't have to be the best. I mean, there's so many different angles here you can take, right?
Yeah.
But for you, you should still be grateful because, like, right now, what you're going through is a little bit of a phase where it's like, because you're growing,
Mm.
it's growth spurts,
Yeah.
right? Like, you weren't at 10K, you were like a little bit
Yeah.
lower, before that. And then now you're at this. So it's going to take a little bit of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what's kind of going on? You'll understand what those things are where you're spending the most amount of time with the least amount of outputs.
Hmm.
And then you'll start to adjust. Either you just plug in someone, use someone, you can use someone from our team, or if you want to outsource, whatever you want to do. And then you start to position yourself as the brain, because you're like the king of the company, right? The last thing that we want to do for you or for any of our clients watching is feeling like you're stuck and overwhelmed. Yeah, the money's coming in, it's good and all, 10K, 20K, 30K, but we don't want you to feel like you are tied to your business, that you're your own glorified employee.
Right.
Because if you don't set it up properly, that could happen.
You've called me that before. And it's
Look,
true.
and we're coaching, I'm
Yeah.
coaching you a little bit on this.
Yeah.
This is the easiest thing, by the way. I know for you it may be like, well, it's a little difficult, but look, you're making 10K a month.
Yeah.
Most people, like, that's top 15% of income in the US. That's top 1% of income in the world. Okay,
Mhm.
so you're already doing 10K. Now it's like, and by the way, in my opinion, what I've seen with working with hundreds and hundreds of people, that 10K a month is not 10K.
No, it's not.
It's like 100. No, no, let me explain. I know
Oh,
you're
you're
thinking,
going the other
I'm
way.
going the other way.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
I
I'm
can't wait
going
to
the
hear
other
this.
way. Yeah, watch this. So I know what you're saying. I know you're like, hey, 10K a month. I can't really, the bills and stuff. That's what you're talking. I'm
That's
not
also
talking.
a thing,
I'm not
but
talking about that.
okay.
I'm not talking about what the value of that cash is coming in. I'm not talking about that.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
talking about something else. What I'm talking about is how you were able to get that 10K. That's what I'm referring to. The same way you were able to get to that 10K, now you can get to 100.
Hmm.
That's the value. So when I tell people, when I talk to people, they're like, I just want to make the money cash. I'm like, yeah, 10K is a lot. Like, I mean, depends on, if you're like in San Francisco, then 10K may not be that
Right.
much. You can still pay your bills and stuff. But if you're living like, even in Texas, 10K is pretty good money. Six-figure income is still there. But the true value isn't that 10K. It's how you were able to achieve that by having a scalable, repeatable system,
Mm.
and then just scale that. Because what you've done, Chino, is you've the stovetop has been cracked already.
Mm.
That's the hardest part. That first 10K is kind of like, you know, in the beginning when you wake up and then the gas is low sometimes and you're like, it doesn't want to turn on. You've done that. All you have to do is like, the fire's on, just increase. That's your challenge right now. And you just got to the 10K a month now. So it's like, okay, over the next month, 2-3 months, we'll double, triple, quadruple this thing. No problem.
Yeah, that's promising, man, because there are plateaus, right? I'm aware where it's really interesting because you never know what you don't know. And so, like, for example, I hear and I see all the time testimonials for like 50K, 100K, 200,000, 500,000, man. It's insane how much how high it goes. And I had no idea, but
Yeah, some of our clients are making 400K plus per
right.
month, multiple of them. Oh, I just had
Yeah,
one
I
last
saw it.
night.
I saw it too on
Did you
Slack.
see the
Right? Yeah.
last night one?
Yeah.
So that one, he's doing $200,000 a month in 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
Again, I'm not here to tell you like that's gonna happen to you. It's a rare case. It does happen. It's a rare case.
Yeah.
Right. But like it's possible. This is the world that we live in. 200 grand in 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. I suppose in this case, it really boils down to like, do you know what you need to do, and are you willing to do what it takes? Because there are varying I would guess desires in people to actually do what they know they need to do. Like that's what procrastination is, right? You know, because you're battling with demons inside.
Yep.
You're battling with the stresses of what it feels like to be uncomfortable. And if you can master that of like, oh, I'm going to just deal with it anyway, right? Because this is something that has to happen. And it's going to happen because it's happened many times in my life. I'm just, you know, going to go through it faster. I think that's my goal personally as a business owner, is how can I put myself in a situation where I break through that plateau as fast as possible. And there you go. That's maybe that's one of the reasons why that guy or that person was able to do that, because they realize there's no point in just doing it casually. Like, go for it. If that's your goal, go for it, man.
So exactly right. And I want to stress on something. So with him, let's go a little bit deeper. I actually had him fly out and live with me. I've never done that with anyone. It's just that one guy. You know, that's how much we care about our clients, by the way. Tell me anyone to exist. And you're a witness of this. I brought him here, by the way. That, you know, that person that I'm talking. Yeah, it's him.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 3.5 weeks, 200 grand. And like, I remember when he first came the first day, you know, we were we were having, you know, a meal at the restaurant, and he was like, hey, here's my revenue goals that I want to do. And I was like, looking at him, I was like, I understand, man, but are you open to a new perspective? He's like, yeah. I was like, let's do that in 2-3 days. And he says that in the podcast. So like, I shot a video with him as well. He literally says that. And then that's exactly what happened in about, you know, 3.5 weeks, 200 grand, man.
Wow.
You know, and he's made a testimonial about this.
People will wait their whole lives to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the power, though, of proximity as well. And that's the power of one of the things that you mentioned, and I caught on. I can't remember the exact words that you used, but for me, I don't believe the plateau thing. Okay, like that. I look at the smallest little details. Like if you allow me to coach you a little bit here,
yeah.
The plateaus are just in your own brain.
Okay.
If you're gonna believe that, you're gonna be hit with a plateau. Because trust me, I went through that too. It's like you will hit that plateau and you will stay there. And then now you're like, yeah, you know, it's just part of business. No, it's not. There's people making so much money in a day. Like, okay, I'll give you my example. Chino, if I made 100 grand in a month, man, I wouldn't do this, but like, you know, I'm exaggerating. I'd probably kill myself. Exaggeration. Like, I would be furious. And I'm pretty good at controlling my emotions, right? Yeah. But like, if I did like 100K in a month, I'd be like, what's wrong? Wow. Like, so I'd be calling like my whole team, like, what? We're failures.
Right. But in someone else's eyes,
I would like, literally slouch my shoulders and I just like, sorry. I'm like, yeah, I failed, man.
Right.
100K a month, even more. Like, even if we do like 300-400, I would be like, come on, man. Like, is that all we have? And then there's someone else out there who would do if they do $1 million a month, they'd feel the same way.
Yeah.
And for me, $1 million a month would be like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. So like, there's different levels. So now if I condition my brain to say, oh, if I hit $1 million a month, that's where I want to be. Or, you know, again, you take the money, you make it smaller, 10K a month, 20K a month, 5K a month. Some people just want to make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's really cool. Like, that's one client. If you condition your brain for that, now that's your ceiling now. That's a measuring stick.
Yeah, I can see that. So it's kind of like it's really purely a mindset thing, obviously. And mindset is emotional, right? The emotions are linked to the mindset, right? And if you allow yourself to be guided by your emotions, that's like a recipe for disaster. And I think most people are like that.
Exactly. So the emotions are there to serve you, not to control you.
Mm,
It's kind of like this. You put a stove on, right? You put your hand on, oh, it's gonna burn. It's like, like, why? It's a defense mechanism.
mhm.
Because if you don't have that, what is that disease called? Leprosy, right? I think. Where they just cut your hand, like,
Right, right.
because like if you don't have these pain receivers,
Yeah.
then you just hurt yourself.
Mhm.
So it's the same thing with physical pain versus emotional pain. It's the same exact thing. So a lot of people, and I deal with this like all the time with other people. I see them like, some of the people that come to us, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, it's not real. What you're feeling, it's not real.
Mhm.
You're just allowing yourself to believe that because you don't know any better for yourself. But you need to be open and honest about us being able to coach you out of that, about us giving you that game plan and roadmap. And we can only help you to the level that you allow us to.
Mhm.
So we see this stuff and they have all these kind of like, think about it like defense mechanisms going off, right? Like
Mhm.
their radars are just
Yeah.
spinning and it's just like, this is a problem, this is a problem. And we look at it, we're like, yeah, that's a non-issue.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
So even for myself, whenever I feel emotional, like, oh, this is not working, or for example, like today, let's use today's example. Okay. I was telling you, typically I'm pretty good at controlling myself emotionally and stuff. However, today we are going to Bali. So me, and my partner, we're going to Bali. We can't find her passport. So right after this, I have to rush
Yeah.
back. And I'm a little stressed. But if I think about it, okay, say we miss our flight. Is the world ended?
Yeah. What's the worst that could
What's the
happen,
worst?
right?
Like, what if that plane crashes? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
And what if we're like, we're so like bottled up, like so. And again, when I first came here, I was like, I wasn't too, I wasn't in the best mood. But then I had to catch myself and say, hey, relax. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's all gonna be good. If we miss it, okay. So what?
Yeah, and you've also dealt with worse.
We dealt with worse, and it's just another adventure.
It's just another,
It's just
yeah.
another adventure.
Yeah,
It's just your
absolutely.
worldview on life, and that
Perspective.
you attract the money that you're looking to attract by how you think about certain things.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm seeing that more and more as days go on, and I feel like that's something that I think the results you can get from simply just working on your mindset are exponential. It is the probably why it's the most uh, popular form of education in the world, personal development, let's say. It's very powerful, and there's a lot of ways that you can consume education and not do anything with it. But maybe it's the right time. Maybe it's the right time to consider. Like, is my life going the way that I want it to go? Based on what I've done in the past up until now, if I quantify that, am I going to end up where I want to be? And the most likely answer is no, because everyone has higher or should have higher goals, right? So you've got to figure out, well, what do I need to change? And then the mindset is the most powerful changing mechanism. I think you could get a bunch of new strategies, tactics, and things like that, but that mindset change, that will open up so many new doors for you. So I guess coming full circle, having a coach that doesn't just focus on strategy, doesn't just focus on tactics, but really on changing the way you think about things to be able to open these new doors to reach the goals faster.
The tactics, the skills, and all that, that's not the hard part. We like all the stuff that we have is there,
Mm,
but if the person isn't the right person,
yeah.
no
And
matter
and
what,
you might not be the right person,
and that's
but
okay, you can develop it. Yeah.
exactly. But if you go away and you kind of try to figure out, well, why am I not the right person? Then you can become the right person, and then you can start your journey. So that's happened to me a number of times too, right?
Exactly. And I think the most important of this is picking the right partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like marriage, right? You want to pick the right partner for yourself. And if you pick the wrong one, there goes your life, right?
Right.
Same exact thing with business, or even like, because like a lot of clients come to us and they're like, I've been burned in the past. Is this going to be one of those things? And we're like, you can't allow those previous experiences to dictate how your new relationship's going to be. Just because you had a bad, for example, girlfriend, for example, in the past, or a wife, whatever, doesn't mean that every single person, every single man or woman is bad.
Yeah.
There's good ones out there. You just picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it is your responsibility, right? It was your responsibility. So you need to pick the right one. Very similarly to one of the things that you were talking about, education. the right education. Because a lot of people watching this, maybe they have 4-year college degrees,
Mm.
and some of them, they use them for sure. But what percentage of the people are watching this who have actually used it to the level that they were supposed to?
Hmm.
A lot of people, I think, like the statistics are like 80% of people get a college degree in one thing, they have a different career altogether.
Yep.
So now I have a mentor who's, by the way, very successful person. He's sold his company for over 9 figures, so like $100 million plus, and he also sits on the board for WHO, which is the W Health organization. So
Oh,
he's like a
whoa.
big boy. Yeah. By the way,
He's an elite.
he's elite. Yeah, from South Africa. He's you want to know a little bit about his personal life?
Okay.
It's crazy. The guy's been
South Africans
bombed.
they go through a lot.
He's been bombed. He's been shot and stabbed. So he was a soldier and then a police officer, and then he became a
know who you're
CEO.
talking about.
Yeah. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Wow.
Yes.
That guy's interesting.
Right.
He's got a hell of a story.
Amazing.
But then, like South Africans, like I said, they go through a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So he was talking about a concept of unschooling.
Mm.
So you like learn all this in your younger, when you're young, and then you go to college, you go to elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Some people are even PhDs. We have a lot of like very sophisticated clientele who watch this. And then you're like, oh, the world's supposed to be like this. And then the world comes in and just kicks you in the teeth. And your teeth fall out, right? And then you're like, whoa, but I thought I was supposed to be ready.
Yeah.
And again, not for everyone, but a lot of people watching this can probably relate. So now what you have to do is like unschool yourself. So now you have to find people, you have to find, a good, like you said, mentor, coach who understands these things to a very deep level and can help you unschool some of those things and fill that in with the right type of stuff that you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
So that's a concept as well.
Can you imagine, like maybe someone here is thinking about whether they should invest in a university degree or working with you. And it makes me laugh because I have been to university.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Twice. And I do not recommend it for most people because what happens is you are learning mostly by theory. And when you, like you said, get into the real life, real world, now it's practical. It's almost like you didn't learn anything. What happens is if you're going to work with someone to try to develop business skills, you have to work with a business owner.
Yeah.
Someone who has done this probably many times before, and they know everything about how it works in real time. Because if you're going for theory, it just doesn't work, man. It just does not work. It's not up to date.
Imagine me saying, hey, Chino, can you teach me how to swim? And you've never been in the pool.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. And we're like all forced to believe by this, society's indoctrination that, hey, this is the only way. Now, look, I'm not against it. I think it's very good. Like if you want to be a lawyer, doctor, I mean, I would want my doctor to have a degree. I don't want to... Heart surgery. I'm self-taught.
I'm just trying it out,
right? Of course.
Yeah.
But like okay, here's one. Someone like there was like Arabic. To learn Arabic, you go to a school,
Sure.
Or you can just be like, let me just go to Egypt.
Yeah, that's true, and you'll probably learn it a whole lot faster,
a lot more quicker, and the culture, and like you're learning all these. Why go to that? So it all depends. So if you're trying to make money online, especially, is it smart to like get a business degree?
Right.
And by the way, how much do those things cost?
Oh, that's why I was saying, because it's probably gonna cost more.
Way more. 6 figures plus.
Yeah, it is such a scam, and there's a whole documentary on that as well.
Yeah.
But like I mean, I've been to university, I've spent the money on it, and I've experienced it, and I think it's good for some things, but honestly, very, very specific courses with real people who are doing the work in real time, that's where it is at. That's where you're going to make the most leaps in your development. And if you, for whatever reason, you don't like what you've invested in, you just invest in someone else. You just find another one who's doing it. And you
can't give up on it. Like a marriage, right? If you had a bad relationship, you're like, yep, I'm done. I'm going to have a cat now and a dog. Like a lot of people, like in the West, especially. Yeah. And I know like, some of the stuff that we're talking about is, it's a little different, especially for the people watching this. They probably have degrees. They probably have 6-figure careers, especially where I come from. So I'm from Pakistan, right? And this type of conversation with my parents at first, it was not easy, right? But they were very smart. They understood, right? Like it took a little bit of understanding for them to see like, oh, a lot of the business owners, they don't have degrees.
Yeah.
And you know that we have this false perception, especially in my culture, where if you don't have a degree, you're
Totally.
like a low life essentially,
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
It's like an Asian thing, I guess,
it's
as
an
well,
Asian thing.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
same
yeah.
with the Chinese,
It's like
same with
if you
the
don't have an A plus, you are not capable.
yeah.
And that was good up until like the 70s or the 80s, because back then that was the thing. Like I remember my grandfather, he was a captain, 747 captain in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, he took the first flight for Pakistan International Airlines to Hong
Oh,
Kong. Yes,
wow, that's
so
cool.
he's the first one who captained that. Right, he was also flying. There was like a Pakistan-India war. He was flying the C-130s at night, transporting ammunition. Yeah, he studied in candlelight because he's from a village. So
Wow.
he went from a village, and he needed to go to school. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree. A plus, 1,000%. And same with my other grandpa from my mom's side as well. He was also, pretty. He was a GM of the same airline, by the way. That's how they met. Yeah. The general manager of PIA,
Really?
which is Pakistan
That's
International
insane.
Airlines. Yes, back in like I think it was the late 90s or like mid 90s, and that's where they met. And then my mom and dad, that's how they got married. But it goes to show you that both of them studied very hard in school.
Yeah.
And yes, at the time that was the thing. But we can't take that same perspective in today's age with AI. Every day is changing.
Mhm.
The stuff they teach you in school about marketing,
This is it.
I opened up some of the textbooks and I was like scared. It's like
Did-
talking about
did-
radio
did you?
ads.
Yeah. Oh. like how to teach your parrot to actually
like-
fly to the destination.
It's
Yeah.
like, man, this is, am I like a dinosaur? Like,
Well, I mean, I don't know how they do it now, but like any bureaucracy is going to be slow. Any institution which has a lot of layers and levels is going to be slow. You don't want that. You want flexibility. You want nimbleness.
yeah,
You
quick.
want to be able to work with an organization that's like testing things all the time,
Yes,
and then
R&D
instant
department.
feedback. Yeah, R&D.
Talk about like what we did. Let's talk a little bit about AI, and then we do have to wrap up. I
Okay,
have to run,
sure.
look for the passport. Hopefully, we can make the flight. But like, let's talk about like the
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
stuff.
sure.
We spent like 6 hours.
Yeah.
2 days ago, or no, 2 days ago, and then day before yesterday, we spent also like another 2-3 hours on just building out some of the AI stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what your perspective, because you're also on the very cutting edge, just like us. You're part of our team, also like
Sure.
part of it, where we're looking to build some of the craziest systems in the AI space to be able to bring to some of our clients watching this.
Yeah.
So what are some of those, use cases or things that people can do when it comes to using AI?
Yeah. So, I mean, the list is growing by the day, and I think it's almost impossible to find something that you can't do with AI now. The thing is, though, it's still quite early days, I would say, and that's why there's a really, really big opportunity right now, probably why they're calling it the digital gold rush, because it really is the day before everything becomes impossible. In terms of like, how can I jump on this train? Like, it's literally the hour on the clock before it becomes impossible. And the reason why I say impossible is because imagine you want to build your brand and you go online and you're competing against 1 million accounts that are posting 100 pieces of content a day. That is how bad it's going to get in terms of like AI taking over the internet. So think about that for a second, because that's a very controversial, but also
scary, but also
scary situation to think
good
about.
scary if you get on the train
if
now.
you can be one of the people who can adopt this now, and
Yeah.
you know what you're doing and you're going in the right direction, I personally feel like you got a chance. You got a really good chance. And so in terms of like what you can do with AI, well, we're looking into how to build systems that will enable us rather to create content, rapid content, but very realistic content, and not necessarily realistic content. I think it's more like effective content, because effective content does mean realistic in certain situations. Like if you want to make an ad and it's like you, then you need to look like you're you, right?
Yeah.
So that's something to take into account. But there's also very creative ways to use AI. Like, for example, you can do cartoon characters. You can create scenarios where you've never been before, but it's you there. You can stylize it. You can do so many different things. You can use different voices. You can have people come into your content and say certain things. So there's, if you get really good at this, there's no limit to what you can create for your business. And also, I mean, you know more about this than I do because I'm more of the creative, like visual side. But AI tools are transforming how business is done. And I guess like platforms like make.com are very
Yeah,
unknown
yeah.
still by the average person. The average business owner doesn't know what make.com is, but it is a very powerful tool. And it's just going to get more powerful for like automating things, for giving you back your time essentially.
Yeah, that's what a lot of our clients are doing. We're helping them set up AI agencies, you know,
Yeah,
and we use tools like that. There's a couple other things that we're using, a couple
sure.
special things that we do for some of our clients. So we just connect them with wealthy business owners who are like older, they're like kind of retiring. They don't understand these things, and the best part is that our clients don't have to do that for them.
Right.
They just use our team,
Yeah.
which is basically a concept that I took from real estate, which is other people's money. You can take it's OTM. You just use other people's money to invest. Well, we're like, oh, that's money's an asset, but we have like 120 people. That's an asset. Why don't we just license out and kind of like franchise like system out our team to our clients?
Very
That's
smart.
exactly what we do. So we just license out the team to be able to set up the AI stuff, the tools. Some of them already
Because you don't
exist.
want to be doing this stuff.
You don't want to be doing
You
it.
know, it's going to take you so long to figure it out, man. I mean, we're working together, right? So
Yeah,
it's actually we have to do it.
we're the ones who
We're the
figure it
ones who
out
are
for
figuring
you.
it out, right? But like because of that, I know that it's not going to be what most people would want, and so you definitely have a real good competitive advantage when it comes to like getting people ready for this gold rush and then taking advantage of it before it disappears, because you have to have speed, you have to have
For
velocity.
sure.
And if you don't have a team that can do it, it's really up to you. And that's going to be a year to figure out even stuff that's going to change in that year. You're going to be learning. It's almost like oxygen debt. Like when you're running and you start to get like out of breath,
Yeah.
and you're trying to catch up with the breath from before, but you can't do it. So you
And
have to
guys,
stop.
I promise you, this is not some random fake scarcity or anything like that. This is real. And I'm very hesitant. I did not talk about AI until recently.
Mm,
Even when everyone was like talking about it, I was like, no, 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 no. I will only bring the things to our clients that I know
right.
will 100% work. And I hired 6 people first before I even said a word about AI in this space, because I wanted to make sure, again, just like you said, there's a lot of work that we have to do. So we're figuring this out. The things that we try, 9 of them won't even work. There's only one thing that we're like, oh my god, this is like the we struck gold. This is the
Mm,
line of where the gold is. Bring it to our clients. So if you're watching this right now, we are the forefront, right? Chino's leading one of the teams we have with AI. Another team we have, that guy's he's worked at Oracle, Boeing, Verizon, and like he's leading about 4 guys as well. And you have a couple people as well. So that's kind of like our team when it comes to the AI side of things. I'm curious, Chino, what would you say to someone who's like on the edge of wanting to potentially work with Launch My Agency, wanting to have a service-based online business specifically infused with AI, right? They want to have their own digital marketing agency, but they're maybe a little hesitant for whatever reason. What would you say to them?
I mean, I probably would pre-qualify them right now with what I'm about to say, because it, like we really talked about this, it's a mindset thing first and foremost. Obviously, having an amazing teacher is an essential part of the recipe, and so that's where you guys come in. But you also, on top of that, you are going to help people to, and I've seen it and I experience it, right? It's a mindset thing. So if people are prepared to actually go through the steps required to get to where they want to go, mindset is one of those steps, you know? And so you are very good at helping people with that. And that's impressive, because a lot of service providers are just going to offer the service. They're not really going to help them
Get the
hand by hand,
results.
yeah, hand in
We are
hand.
here for the outcome.
Right.
I can just be like, I'll just deliver the service and goodbye. No, 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 no.
Because a lot of that conversation with Sebastian that you had, which was the 2 hour, 2.5 hour
Yeah,
conversation, was mindset. It was
yeah.
just mindset. And it
It's
was
like
like,
allow us to help you.
yeah,
We have clients. Sometimes they come and then they're like this is a question. Like if you're watching this, you're considering being a client. If you're like this, please don't sign up, because there's no point.
right.
If you're gonna be this person, for example, we had one person signed up right after 3.5 weeks later, he goes to on vacation for like 3.5 weeks, and we didn't even know about this. And we're like calling, messaging. He's like on a cruise, right?
Oh,
And it's
no.
like, hey, at least let us know.
Yeah.
So we're waiting. He comes back. He's like, where's my business? Because we have a done for you set up. And we're like, yeah, dude, not gonna happen. we refund and goodbye. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't, typically we don't do refunds
He
because like this
literally
is a
right.
service-based business where there's real people,
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
But like for someone like that, we're like, yeah, we don't want
Yeah,
you,
it's
man. We
not the
don't want
kind
you in
of
our system
yeah.
because what we do here is a relationship for years and years to come,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
This is not something that is just for a month or two. We have business partners. The reason why we do this as well is the clients that you are able to land, we were gonna service them for you, which means we also make money, right? Like, of course, it's a win-win kind of situation that we do. So that's why we offer something like this, and it's a very done for you approach that we have. But you need to allow us to be able to do that, right? If you're gonna not give us logins to your ad account, for example, we can't run the ads, and
Yeah.
then nothing's gonna really happen. So Chino, really appreciate you for coming here. Any kind of like last thoughts, any final words that you want to say?
I mean, I think it's definitely very important to just like you asked me a question, and honestly, it still makes me think to this day, like, what is it that I really want?
Mm.
And if you can get clear on that, then I think everything else becomes a lot easier because now you have a path. And you guys fit in perfectly with that because that's what you base a lot of your service on. It's like being able to know what your vision is and then taking people to that destination. So my final thoughts are really just like start working with this guy.
Appreciate that. What I'd like to offer here is a call with my team to see if this is exactly what you're looking for or not. On the call, you'll be able to give. On the call, we'll be able to give you the game plan to see, whether or not this is kind of like resonating with you. If it's not, no worries. If it is, we can shake hands and move forward. But with that being said, there's going to be a link somewhere down below. Go ahead and book your call. And just like you said, this is the digital gold rush.
Yeah.
Like this is not. Trust me, guys. I don't do this weird markety stuff of like one spot available. No, if there are something like that, is because our done for you team is capped out. We just like stop the thing. So right now, if you're watching this video right now is the time to get in. Like you don't want to miss this boat. Don't miss this opportunity. This could be a potential life-changing opportunity. Whether you're a corporate worker, a 9-to-5 employee, or you're a business owner, you have a couple of businesses, you want another side source, kind of like a semi-passive source of income as well. That's something that we can potentially help you build out as well. So go ahead and book your call down below. There's going to be a link somewhere. And Chino, thank you very much for coming
Thank you.
here.
Yeah, I
Take care.
appreciate it. Thank you.